Yeah, good morning one and all. This is Ramavat Mohan. Welcome to KANISHKA IAS. So today we'll be discussing a very important topic about the government school closures. We'll be discussing about what are the reasons behind that, what are the factors and what are the challenges faced by the government schools in our country. So before I start, there is in the mains point of view, as the UPSC mains is approaching, we could expect a question on the school closures, that is the government school closures. So I'll just read the question, how they will frame the question. The government school closures are not merely a governance challenge, but a question of educational equity and constitutional justice. Critically examine the factors driving school closures in India and suggest measures to make school rationalization inclusive and child-centric. So you have to put this answer within a word limit of 250 words, and the question carries around 15 marks. So how you write the answer and what content you will be writing, okay, and how you conclude, we will be doing all this in this lecture. So before I proceed, what you have to do is, when the question is related with the school education, you need to focus on what the Indian Constitution guarantees for the education of a child, right? So what are the articles, or are there any acts? Okay, Government of India acts are available for guaranteeing the education of the children. So you need to briefly see, there are a lot of other guarantees, but we will be basically focused on the main three guarantees which are provided by the Indian Constitution. So just namely, we can briefly discuss at a glance. The first guarantee provided by our Constitution is that the right to education. The Right to Education Act, which was brought in the year 2009, August 4th. Right to Education Act 2009 was introduced or launched on August 4th of 2009. So here the basic concentration is on Article 21A, the right to life and personal liberty. So along with that, it provides the right to education. Okay, so you need to answer, while answering the mains, UPSC mains answer writing, you need to focus on this. So what does this article say? Article 21A talks about, it provides free and compulsory education to all the children who are aged between 6 years to 14 years. Very important. Okay, 6 to 14 years. And it is inserted by the Constitutional Amendment Act 2002. So that is 86th Constitutional Amendment Act in the year 2002. And it is operationalized through the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act. That is whatever I was saying now, Right to Education Act 2009. It was introduced on August 4th. So coming to the second guarantee is that Article 45, which comes under the directive principles of state policy, right? Directive principles of state policies. So what it talks about, it mainly focuses on the early childhood care and education for the children who attain the age of until 6 years of age. So it directs the state. The state here is nothing but the central government to endeavor to provide early childhood care and education for children below 6 years of age. So it's only up to 6 years, you need to remember. So UPSC may frame a question even in the prelims point of view. So you need to be very careful. So here Article 21A, it provides education for 6 to 14 years, but here in case of Article 45, it talks about below 6 years age. That means up to 6 years of age, they will be taking care of the early childhood care and education for the children. So originally dealt with free and compulsory education up to 14 years. Originally means initially. Its scope changed after Article 21A was introduced. Very important point. So it may be asked in the prelims point of view as well, right? So you need to be very careful. And coming to the third guarantee provided by the Indian Constitution regarding the education is Article 51A, subclause K. Right? It comes under the fundamental duty. So what it promises, it states that it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to provide opportunities for education to his or her child. Okay, so it is like, it is not provided by the state, it is provided by the parent or guardian. Okay, so here in both these cases, Article 21A and Article 45, here the state is responsible for providing the guarantee regarding the education. But here the education to be provided to the children who are like between the age group of 6 and 14 years by the parent or guard to the respective child or ward. Okay, so these are the guarantees provided by the Indian Constitution towards education. Okay, so you need to like balance your answer while you are writing your answer in the body. So we will be actually discussing the question in detail in the next slide. So moving on to the next slide, what we are doing here is that, so education is nothing but it is the fundamental right for 6 to 14 years and a constitutional promise for every child, which was brought through the act like 86th Constitutional Amendment Act, okay, 2002, by the Right to Education Act. So coming to in detail about the government school closures, like what are the reasons, what are the factors, and what are the challenges we are facing. So recently the NITI Aayog has like brought a report regarding the education, school education. So what did they say is, NITI Aayog report revealed that almost 94,000 government schools have been closed, okay, and raising serious concerns over equitable access to education. So as we all already told you that Article 21A talks about right to education, okay, under the age group, like a group spanning from 6 to 14 years of age. So what is the current status? What is the current status of government school closures? So school closures are around, like already I said that almost 94,000 government schools have been closed, okay, and what it talks about is that, so almost per day or daily we can say that almost 25 schools are being closed when we talk about the previous decade, right? So among the past 10 years we can say, and there is also the shrinking share. So what do I mean by this? So government schools enrollment has come down, or it fell down from around 71% to 49.24%. Sorry, I forgot this point. Coming to the enrollment decline, the enrollment, that means the new admissions to the government schools have come down. Like government school enrollment declined to around 2.26 crores. Okay, that means the 2.26 crore students have left the schools. So coming to the school reduction, according to UPSC plus records, government schools declining from 11.07 to 10.17 lakh. So what is this UPSC plus? That is nothing but Unified District Information System for Education plus. So that has reported that around 11.07, the school reductions have drastically reduced from 11.07 to 10.17 lakh. So coming to the private growth, so private schools increased from around 2.88 lakh to 3.31 lakh. That means here the government schools have reduced, but whereas when you talk about the private schools, they have increased drastically from 2.88 lakh to 3.31 lakh nationwide. That means throughout the country. So you need to provide these statistics or data facts to support your answers. So let us discuss something about what are the reasons actually, what reasons have made these government schools to be closed, right? Or what is the exact reason for the school closures? So coming to the first point, that is school rationalization. So what do you mean by school rationalization? So recently, the government of India has bought the National Education Policy 2020, right? So according to that, they have got this school rationalization concept. So what is meant by that? School rationalization policy is nothing but, see, if there is low enrollment or where the dropout rate is more in the schools, so they are consolidating those schools with the nearby schools. That means the schools are being closed where there is very, very low enrollment of the students. So that's one of the reasons. So NEP 2020 promotes school complexes. So school complex is nothing but when there is low enrollment of the students in a particular school, they are clubbing or merging the other schools, which denotes the school complex. Okay, so thus there is a reduction in the government schools, which is like drastically dropping or declining in the number of schools. So coming to the declining ratio, the second point, declining ratio or declining enrollment, we can say. So government school enrollment has drastically come down, okay, because of the has come down by 2.26 crores. So again enrollment share also fell from 71% to 24 percentage. So this was like 71% enrollment was in the year 2005, but it has fell to 49.24% by the year 2024-25 when you consider the academic years. So very, very important point here. So the third reason is due to the migration and demographics in Madhya Pradesh. So especially when you talk about Madhya Pradesh, so 1.55 lakh children left the school. So what was the reason? The reason was migration or displacement, okay, reducing the rural enrollment. So people like they are the parents, the rural population, they are moving to certain urban areas where the rural enrollment has come down because of the migration or displacement of the parents, where they are going in search of employment, right, or earnings, we can say. And coming to the financial constraints. So when you talk specifically about Jammu and Kashmir, it has merged over almost 4,300 schools to optimize resources amid declining enrollment and limited finance. So we have to focus that. Like here, due to the financial constraints or economical conditions, what happened is Jammu Kashmir has merged almost 4,300 schools, so why they have gone for the school closures? To optimize the resources, because there were limited finances were available with the government and declining enrollment, because there is no low enrollment. That means the students are not coming to the school. So that was the main reason. And coming to the fifth reason is teacher shortages. That means when you take specifically Jammu and Kashmir, it has nearly 13,000 teacher vacancies, while many schools operate with multi-grade classrooms and affecting the learning quality. That means when there are no teachers, what happens? The quality degrades. The quality of the education comes down drastically. So coming to the certain factors, like when you talk about certain factors which are contributing to declining in the government school enrollment. So what are the main reasons? So the first reason is about the poor quality. So according to the ASER 2024 result, that is nothing but ASER is nothing but annual status of education report, which was taken in the year 2024. What it says is, it highlights about weak foundational learning and teacher absenteeism. That means the teachers are not going to the schools, but they are getting the salaries. And multi-grade classrooms discourage enrollment. That means multi-grade classroom, that means they are clubbing the multi-grades together, which is disturbing the quality of education. And coming to the infrastructure deficits. So infrastructure deficits, that means according to the UDSA 2024. So already I told you, UDSA plus is nothing but Unified District Information for School Education. According to the 2023-24 report, it talks about the persistent sanitation, electricity and digital gaps. That means the sanitation there is absence of sanitation, there is no proper sanitation, there is no electricity, along with that there are no digital gaps are there, right? That means there is no system or a digital equipments are not available in the when we talk about the infrastructure deficits. And coming to the third point, the rise of private schools. That means there are emerging private schools are emerging exponentially, we can say. So rise they are rising in the like from 2.88 lakhs to we have got 3.31 lakh from the year when we talk about the entire decade, like 2014 to 15 up till 2023-24. So attracting parents. So naturally the parents are removing the wards or kids from the government schools and they are going to the private schools. So definitely the strength of the enrollment ratio declines, whereas in the private schools it is going up exponentially. So here the private sectors are making money, which is attracting the parents. Okay. And coming to the fourth point, that is socio-economic factors. What are the socio-economic factors? As we already discussed in Madhya Pradesh. So Madhya Pradesh state, what happened is 1.55 lakh migrant children illustrate poverty and migration-driven school dropouts. So the basic thing is the parents, they are leaving their native places or rural areas in order to like earn some money, that is towards like employment and all. So what they are doing is these people or these children, they are suffering from the issues of poverty and migration, which is like making them to like not to go to schools. Okay, so dropout rates. So these children, they are suffering from the dropout rates. So dropout rates are increasing drastically. Coming to certain impacts of government school closures. So what are the impacts? When you talk about the impacts, the first one is access reduction. That is already I told you, Jammu and Kashmir has almost 4,300 school mergers force children to travel 4 to 6 kilometers, which is violating the RTE neighborhood school norms. So what is meant by Right to Education Act 2009 neighborhood school norms? See, in the neighborhood school norms, what happens is the school should be established from the child's residence at a walking distance of, let us say, if it is a primary classes, from like if they are like, they should be like established within 1 kilometer. Okay, the classes will be from first class to class 5th, that is 1 to 5. And if there are like the classes for the children who are like into the classes from 6 to 8, so the schools can be established within a walking distance of 3 kilometers from the child's residence. So these are the neighborhood school norms which is being promised or guaranteed by the Right to Education Act, but that is not happening. So total violation of the Right to Education Act is happening, which is leading to the access in reduction. That means as the schools are like further, so it is encouraging the dropout in the enrollment ratio of the school children. And coming to the higher dropouts, so you can take the case of Madhya Pradesh where 11.38 lakh children are at risk because of increasing dropouts, especially among girls and tribal communities. So here, like as these like tribal communities are like very poor, they go in search of employment, and due to migration, they take the wards along with them, where the children are like they are not going to the schools, and dropout rates are increasing, and the enrollment ratio is coming down, which is one of the impact we can say for the school closures. And growing inequality. So government school enrollment declined by 2.26 crore, disproportionately affecting SCs, STs, OBCs and poor households. So here these communities are like impacted mostly, like scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other backward classes, that is OBCs, like because of the poverty and poverty and migration conditions. And coming to the fourth one is learning loss, because when you talk about, like when we take the case of Jammu and Kashmir, like there are almost 13,000 vacancies for the teachers. So when there is no teacher, then definitely like the quality comes down, and there will be no students to go to, like to attract the students. Okay, so that is one of the discouragement we can say, and the children will be at learning loss because of the unavailability of the faculty or teachers, and multi-grade teaching, which is also impacting and reducing classroom attention and learning outcomes to the school children. And coming to the final point is social impact. So closure of almost 94,000 schools weakens Article 21A, which is like guaranteed and promised by the Constitution of India through the Right to Education Act of 2009. So when this is like violated, what happens is it increases the child labor and intergenerational poverty. So when the children are not going to school, what happens is the child labor increases drastically, and it creates a gap, intergenerational gap in terms of education and as well as poverty. So those are the impacts of government school closures on the life of the children. And coming to the government initiatives to strengthen school education. So like what is the government of India, that is central government, is like doing, or what are the different schemes to improve the education of the children. So as we talk about Samagra Shiksha, okay, so it's a like integrated school education scheme providing like infrastructure, teacher trainings, inclusive education and digital learning support. So that is one of the initiatives taken by the government of India. And coming to the second one, they have introduced like PM Poshan. Okay, nothing but it is a midday meal scheme where it improves the nutrition of the child, it takes care of the health, and if the health of the child is like good, then he can attend the school, which helps also in the retention capacity. Okay, so the child will get a habit, or he will be habituated to go to the school regularly, so that way the retention capacity increases and learning outcomes also improve. Okay, so finally it brings like growth for the school children. And coming to the PM Shri, the third initiative is Pradhan Mantri School Rising India. So that was a beautiful initiative where it develops it develops 14,500 model schools aligned with National Education Policy 2020, which is of the format of 5+3+3+4 format. So promoting holistic and quality education. And coming to the fourth initiative is Nipun Bharat and Vidya Pravesh. So basically here they are focusing on the like reading capabilities and numeracy through the Nipun Bharat for the school children. And coming to the Diksha platform, so it is nothing but it is a digital platform which is offering e-content, teacher training, QR related textbooks and multilingual learning outcomes for the welfare of the students. So something about the challenges, finally certain challenges, like how to overcome the challenges in the school rationalization. So the first point is limited consultation. So RTE 2009 mandates community participation. Along with that, many school closures bypass SMEs. What is SMEs? Like there is no proper communication between the SMEs. SMCs, that is nothing but school management committees, okay, and Gram Sabhas and parents. So there is no like proper meetings, we could say, or communication among the three, like school management committees, Gram Sabhas and parents. So limited consultation, which is bringing the dropout rate, or we can say the increase in the dropout rates, okay, or low enrollment ratios. And coming to the poor connectivity. So Jammu and Kashmir case already told that there are like 4,300 school mergers which are forcing the children to travel around 4 to 6 kilometers. So without transport facilities. So they have to like go by walking like 4 to 6 kilometers if they want to attend a school. And there is like teacher shortages. Already Jammu and Kashmir faces almost 13,000 vacancies are there, but they are not filling the vacancies, which is like bringing the quality of education and which is discouraging the students by coming or attending the schools. And finally, we have weak planning. So Madhya Pradesh, 11.3 lakh children are at risk because of the environment-based planning, ignoring migration and social vulnerabilities. So those are the challenges faced by the school children. So that's the reason like most of the government schools are under closure. And what is the solution for all this? Like what is the way forward, or in what way if we go, so that we can like improve the government schools and we can encourage the school children, or we can raise the enrollment ratio. So the first point is inclusive rationalization. That means we have to follow strictly the National Education Policy 2020 by preserving neighborhood schools and conducting social impact assessments before mergers. So this is important. So like say, what is that rationalization policy as per NEP? As I already told you that if there is low enrollment ratio, we need to think in other ways rather than the closing down or merging the schools, which is the school complexes. So that funda had to be focused and provide a solution for that. And coming to the strengthening of schools. So we have to fill teacher vacancies, modernize the infrastructure and leverage PM Shri, that is Pradhan Mantri School Rising India and Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan for quality improvement. And thirdly, we can improve learning. So we need to improve the quality. So implement Nipun Bharat. Okay. So what is Nipun Bharat? Nothing but you need to improve the skills in the reading, understanding along with the numeracy between the age groups of 5 to 16 years of children. Okay. So 5 to 16 years age group. So we have to improve the reading, understanding along with that numeracy through the Nipun Bharat. And finally, we do have a community participation. So here we need to empower the school management committees under Right to Education Act 2009 and strengthen Gram Panchayats and parent oversight. That means there should be consultation, okay, about among these three, right, SMEs, that is school management committees, along with Gram Sabhas or Gram Panchayats, and finally the parents. And finally we need to plan evidence-based planning. So use GSI mapping, transport support, social audits, and UDC plus data before rationalization decisions. So after a thorough study, okay, and getting the reports and all, so then only we need to decide for the closure of schools and all. So finally, what I would like to say is that the success of school reforms lies in building better schools, ensuring Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, which leaves no child behind in India's journey towards inclusive development. Okay. So as Honorable Prime Minister of India has said that they bought a new scheme, he says that Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, right? So here we have to focus on the inclusive development of every child by guaranteeing what Indian Constitution guarantees according to Article 21A through Right to Education Act 2009. Along with that, the DPSPs also focus on Article 45, and finally the fundamental duty through Article 51A subclause K. So that's about those are the ways how we can stop the closure of government schools. So we have discussed about the reasons, certain factors and the challenges, how to deal a way forward for stopping the government school closures. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. All the best.